When my youngest brother spat in my face and called me nothing, I cracked inside. I was standing close to the edge, holding my final letter tight. But by last winter, I had built real success and calm. My brothers never saw it coming. You won't believe how my life completely changed. I went from shame to quiet strength without noise. I built a code I could keep every day. I learned slow hands beat fast talk over time. I carried pain like a stone but shaped it. I turned it into a weight that kept me steady. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and tell us where you're listening in the comments. My name is Adrian, and I am the middle brother. My older brother is Victor, and my youngest is Noah. I fix phones and small gear with careful hands daily. I like order, clean tools, and honest books. Dad said, "A man keeps his word. It keeps him." I wrote that line on a card and kept it. It helped me when home turned cold and sharp. You know that chill that sits behind your ribs? It grows when jokes hide knives and smiles fade. I started to feel that chill more each night. I want to talk straight, man to man. No drama. Brothers fight. That's common, you already know that. What hit me was not one fight, but slow cuts. First came jokes about my pace and careful work. Then my labeled food box started going empty. Rice gone, chicken gone, no one said anything. Then my drivers and tweezers vanished quietly. I asked calm questions and got smirks for answers. I wrote each loss in a small blue notebook. Numbers saved me when feelings got too loud. I printed 10 plain cards for 90 cents total. Adrian repairs. Honest work, fair price, fast reply. I handed them out and kept my voice level. Men respect steady hands and clear words more. I set simple prices I could defend daily. Screen swap 35 to 60, battery 30 to 45. Port clean 20 or 25 if stubborn. I promised, if I break it, I fix it. I promised, if I can't, I say so. Those lines kept my name safe under pressure. The first big shove came at our small dinner time. My plate slid away like I wasn't even there. I had paid my share of rent that week. I said, "I paid. Why are we doing this?" Victor said, "Pay extra or don't eat tonight." Noah stared at his phone and stayed silent. I ate oats with salt and drank some water. Hunger can teach a man to plan better. It burned out pride and left clean focus. I told myself, prove more, argue less, build. I saved $1,100 over months. I wanted to buy broken phones and fix them. I told them the plan and asked to join. Victor smirked and said, "Pennies won't change anything." Noah said, "People won't trust you with that." Those words landed like small stones in my chest. I wrote them down so they lived on paper. Paper holds pain better than your head can. It keeps the poison from spreading inside you. Then came the line that cut deeper than others. Noah stepped close, spat in my face, and grinned. He said, "You're nothing. Stop pretending you're a man." Heat rushed up, and my hands wanted to swing. I counted to 50 while standing very still. I wiped my face and walked outside quietly. I came back and wrote his words in my book. Writing truth turns fire into something you can hold. Have you ever felt that alone in your own home? Would you keep fighting, or would you just fade? I kept a folded letter behind my cash and wallet. The first line said, "I'm tired," and it hurt. I touched it some nights when my chest clenched. One night, I wrote 2 words under that line. I wrote, "Not yet," small and clear, then breathed. I told myself, save yourself for 24 hours. One-day plans beat storms in your head always. Plans you can touch pull you back from edges. Edges do not win when your hands stay busy. I sent 3 simple messages early next morning. I can fix today. Fair price. honest work. A man named Leo said yes to a screen swap. 35 labor if he came fast and calm. I packed my small kit and checked my tools. Drivers tight, pry cards flat, alcohol sealed. Tape rolled right, heat pad folded, cloth clean. I reached his place and spoke few words calmly. I tested the panel first and checked touch lines. It lit clean and the colors looked steady. He paid in cash and said, "You work careful, man." Careful is my pace. It's not an excuse. I slid $5 into my reserve envelope. Even small drops need a home and a plan. Drops make a bucket. A bucket becomes a wall. Walls let a man face wind without panic. I logged the job and saved a receipt photo. Proof protects money and peace at the same time. Proof turns noise into silence without a fight. Silence won't always be empty. It can hold respect. I tried offering a shared plan one last time. I fix, you list, he tracks cash, equal split. Eyes tell truth first. Their eyes already said no. I folded that plan and set it aside calmly. I wrote a new plan that did not need them. It had 5 lines I could carry anywhere. Speak less. Prove more. Protect peace. Honor time. Guard money. Those 5 lines started to feel like steel. Steel is quiet, firm, and shaped for work. Now the hardest part of this chapter, friend. I was seconds from giving up completely. I stood close to the edge and held my letter. I felt like disappearing and becoming silence. Then I chose one small act I could control. I messaged a second buyer and booked a time. I tested parts before cash ever left my hand. I ate oats and water and wrote clean notes. I told myself, build one true day only. That single choice kept me from falling. I will carry you through what came right after. The old bond broke, and a new road started. It was not loud, and it was not pretty. It was calm, firm, and built on small proof. I learned how to stand even with shaking legs. I learned that respect begins in my own hands. I learned that simple rules can save a life. And I learned I could keep walking forward. We were solid once, or I thought we were. We moved together like one mind most days. I want you to picture 3 boys and one vow. A man keeps his word, then his word keeps him. Dad said it once and I wrote it down. I taped it inside my notebook and read it often. Victor laughed when I treated it like gold. Noah nodded because nodding was easy for him. Back then, our table had jokes, plans, and hope. We thought loyalty would carry us through anything. I fixed small things because details calm my mind. You know that quiet focus when screws line up. It makes the noise fade to a soft hum. I would clean a cracked port with patient strokes. I would test touch lines before closing a phone. I liked the truth that comes from results. If it works, it works. No spin needed. Victor lived fast and loved loud deals. He liked shortcuts that felt like winning races. Noah floated between us, pulled by what looked strong. We built lists and called them our code together. Pay bills on time and clean tools after work. Keep doors locked and share chores without drama. For a while, we followed it with no fights. I believed we were tight because it looked tight, but tight can crack if values change inside. Respect is glue. If it dries, everything splits. I noticed new jokes that hid small knives. Counting pennies again, with a proud grin. Those pennies kept lights on, and I knew it. One day still feels warm when I remember it. A neighbor asked us to fix a dead outlet. I checked lines twice before flipping the power. The lamp turned on, and all of us smiled. Victor said, "Too slow," but his eyes looked proud. Noah took a photo and said, "We're a team." Moments like that can trick a soft heart. They make you think the bond will not break. But storms don't always start with thunder. Sometimes clouds drift in and decide to stay. Money pressure grew like weeds after rain. My labeled food box started to run empty. Rice gone and chicken gone without any word. I asked calm, "Who touched my food box?" Silence first, then jokes about being serious. Jokes can be cheap walls men hide behind. I did not chase them around the kitchen. I drank water and told myself to plan. When food goes missing, plan beats anger. I wrote new rules to carry for one day. I started tracking every coin in my book. Date, job, parts, sale, and clean net line. It sounds dull, but it saved my head. Numbers don't lie when people bend truth. They give you rails when your floor shakes. If I felt shame, I opened the book first. If I felt heat in my chest, I wrote more. Calm grows where order repeats daily. I added names to show who paid fair. That book became a mirror I could trust. Victor shifted faster and sharper than before. Small jokes turned into cutting comments often. He told me to go faster than I should. He rolled his eyes when I tested parts twice. He filmed my kit and called it playtime. Noah laughed to show he stood with him. Laughter can be a weapon when guards drop. Have you ever smiled while your gut tightened? You feel the room tilt while standing still. You learn silence can be stronger than speeches. I kept handing out my simple white cards. Adrian Repairs. Honest work. Fair price. Fast reply. People liked the line honest work most. They said other shops promised and failed. I said, if I break it, I fix it. That line landed with men who work hard. It said I would own my mistakes fully. It also reminded me to slow my hands. Slow is smooth when you build trust. Trust is the backbone of a quiet life. The first real bend in us showed at dinner. My plate slid away like I wasn't there. Pay extra or don't eat, Victor told me. I had already paid and stayed calm anyway. I said, I paid. Check the book. He smirked and said, life isn't your book. Noah stared at his phone, face blank. I ate oats with salt and breathed slowly. My mind said, prove, don't argue with pride. That whisper saved strength I needed later. I offered a clean plan for us again. I fix phones, Victor lists, Noah tracks cash. Equal split, clear logs, tested parts first. They nodded, but their eyes did not match. Eyes tell truth first when men won't talk. I knew then something had turned inside. We were three, but we were not together. I folded the plan and put it away. I built a new plan that didn't need them. Survival sometimes starts with a quiet pivot. You might ask why I didn't blow up sooner. Anger is easy, control is hard and costly. I picked control because I want a future. I want a life that doesn't need approval. I want respect I can carry anywhere. Respect you carry comes from kept work. It doesn't beg or shout behind doors. It stands in posture and in timing. That is what I chased while they chase speed. Different targets make brothers split roads. I won't make them monsters to feed my pride. They are men who picked money and noise. I am a man who picked craft and order. That doesn't make me holy or better. It makes me steady in a storm I know. The storm was already here. I named it. Naming a storm helps you plan steps. I wrote 5 steps and read them nightly. Breath, hands, pace, tone, time in control. That is how I stayed whole while bonds thinned. Now let me walk you into the night it broke. Jokes turned to pushes, then to a slap. A lock clicked, and my plate was taken. The line inside my chest finally held firm. I kept my voice level and feet forward. I chose the road that would not flatter. It would build me slow and hold me strong. You'll see why that choice saved my life. You'll see how small steps beat loud speeches, and you'll feel why proof beats noise every time. He told me to stop working and slid his arm across my kit. He said, "No repairs here tonight. We got people over." I kept my voice even and asked for 20 minutes only. He tapped the table and said, "Pay for table time first." I said, "I paid my share already. Check the book." He smiled cold and said, "Not enough for this roof." My jaw clenched and I picked up my bag quietly. I walked to my room without saying one extra word. Calm is not weakness. Calm is control when heat rises. Would you hold your calm then, or would you swing? I opened my drawer and felt the cash was light. I counted twice and found $80 missing. I asked from the doorway, "Who took my money?" He said, "House needs." Like that covered everything. No call, no note, just a hole in trust. I checked my labeled food box and found it empty. Rice gone, chicken gone, my name label peeled. I poured water and ate oats with slow breaths. Saving words saves energy for real fights. I wrote every loss in my blue notebook clean. Numbers are rails when people tilt your floor. I set my kit on the floor beside my bed. Drivers, pry cards, alcohol, tape, heat pad, cloth. I messaged Leo, "Your screen is ready, bring cash." I opened his phone under a small lamp with care. I kept my hands slow so my mind stayed quiet. The screen lit clean and the touch lines were true. I wrapped it safe and logged the finished job. Work does more than pay. It steadies a man's head. Skill answers lies without one loud word. Proof is a shield when pride throws rocks. I stepped into the hall and saw strangers laughing. One man sat in my chair like it was his own. Another slipped my tweezers into his pocket. I said, "Those are mine. Put them back, please." My brother said, "Relax," and the man grinned hard. "We borrow back," he said, and stared at me. I don't borrow from people who don't ask first. I kept my mouth closed and protected my hands. Silence can be a hammer when held right. It lands without noise and leaves a deep mark. At the door, he blocked me with his foot. He said, $50 for the house fund tonight." I said, "I paid my rent. This is just greed." He said, "Special cost," and smirked like a boss. Special often means a trap when pride speaks. I said, "No," quiet and clear with no shake. He stepped close and slapped me once in the face. Not hard, but cold and sharp like a blade. My hand stayed down because I counted to 10. Control saves a year that anger would waste. I said, "We can talk like men if you want." He said, "We are bills. You slow us down." I looked at his eyes and left without a word. A folded note sat on my pillow, like a warning. "Pay more soon, or move," with no name signed. I wrote it in my book and underlined, "Prove speak less, prove more, protect peace, hold lines." I boiled oats and let the anger burn clean. Anger can ride but never touch the wheel. I decide where my hands and feet go next. He came in without knocking and pointed at my parts. He said, "We're selling your spare shells. You're too slow." I said, "Those are mine. Leave my room now." He found no shake in my eyes and stepped back. That small stand felt like steel in my chest. It was the first time my door felt like mine. A man's door teaches everyone how to act. If they won't learn, the door stays closed. Simple rules save you from old tricks. Simple beats clever when storms hit. I checked my spare SIM and found it missing. Not food, not cash, but privacy stolen cold. Privacy is the last layer men guard deepest. I wrote it in the book and circled trust. When trust is gone, systems must grow. Systems don't shout, they hold under pressure. They carry you when shock shakes your knees. I called Ben and asked for 2 nights of space. I said please and thank you, because respect matters. Respect given comes back when floors go soft. He posted me online with a joke for his friends. "Some people can't handle real life," he typed. It showed my closed door like I was a clown. Laughing faces piled up under his words. I put my phone face down and saved my breath. Not every fight needs talk. Some need results. Results speak loud to those who respect work. Results say, I have my own steps and code. They say, you can't lock me out of myself. They say, I'll build where your pride can't reach. I sent 2 messages and booked morning slots. I taped my cracked driver handle one more time. I lined my kit so I could move fast later. He tried one last trick and locked the door behind me. I knocked once and waited 1 patient minute. He opened and said, say please if you want. I said, say respect. And we stared in silence. He stepped back, and I walked past without words. A stare can be louder than shouting sometimes. That was the moment my inner line held. Here are the betrayals, plain and in order. A slap from the elder, a lock used to shame. A plate pulled away after I had paid. Cash taken, tools stolen, and my name mocked. My things almost sold while I still stood there. They wanted speed without the standard or care. They wanted my work without my rules. I kept my hand steady and chose calm steps. Calm is a weapon when truth is on your side. Calm builds plans while anger burns your day. I won't paint them as monsters for your clicks. They are men who chose pride and speed. I am a man who chose craft and order. Their choices trained me better than comfort could. Pain turned into a plan I could carry daily. The plan turned into steps I could repeat. Steps turned into a road I could walk alone. That road was narrow, but it was solid. It led away from noise and toward proof. Proof built the spine that kept me upright. Think about one hard question with me now. Have you felt that mix of hurt and clarity? It burns first and then cools into a line. That line is where you stand when wind hits. That line speaks for you without anger. If you felt it, you know what I mean. If you haven't, I hope you never do. But if it comes, count to 10 and breathe. Keep your hands low and your voice level. Then turn the burn into a plan you keep. Now the edge came close and whispered my name. My letter was in my hand like a small stone. I was seconds from giving up completely, friend. Then one small act pulled me back to life. Not magic, not luck, just a choice to act. I picked control over noise and moved forward. That step saved every step that followed after. Stay close. This part will steady your breath. You will see the exact moment I chose life, and how I held it with simple daily rails. I sat on the edge of my bed and breathed slow. I held a folded letter behind my cash and stared. The first line said, I'm tired, and it cut deep. My hands shook, and my chest felt hollow and tight. I almost let the dark take the wheel and drive. I almost let the room decide what I was worth. Have you ever felt that empty, like noise ate your name? I was seconds from giving up, and I knew it. I closed my eyes and counted each breath to 10. Then I whispered 2 words to myself. Not yet. I opened my blue notebook and made 1 page. I wrote 1-day plan at the top in block letters. Wake early and eat simple food with no excuses. Send 3 short messages to real buyers only. Test every part before money ever leaves my hand. No calls to my brothers for 24 hours. Walk outside for 10 minutes and breathe evenly. I underlined each line so my mind could see it. Plans you can touch pull you back from edges. Doing one true thing beats fear every single time. Would you try that if your head got loud tonight? I gathered my kit and checked each tool with care. Drivers tight, pry cards flat, alcohol bottle capped well, tape ready, heat pad folded, and 1 clean cloth. I set my wallet and keys in a small tray. I wrote reserve on a plain envelope in ink. Even $5 would go in there tonight. Fear spends fast if you let it hold your hand. I would hold my own hand and move first now. That choice gave me 1 steady inch of space. A man can live a whole day on 1 inch. I messaged 3 buyers with plain, honest words. I can fix today. Fair price, careful hands. Fast reply. One said yes to a screen at 35 labor. One needed a port cleaned and a bracket tightened. One asked for advice and maybe a battery swap. I did not brag or promise things I couldn't do. Skill serves best when pride stays out of the room. Pride makes big promises your hands can't keep yet. I promised only what my hands could deliver. That is how you save your name and your sleep. Morning came, and the knot still sat in my chest. I stood anyway and faced the mirror with calm. I said, "You are the same man with the same hands." I rinsed cold and ate oats plain with water. Simple food feeds work better than sweet lies. I packed my kit and put on steady shoes. I touched the letter and set it back in place. It would not choose my steps for me today. My plan and my code would choose my steps. A man must pick his steering wheel each day. I met the first client and laid out my tools. I spoke few words and let my hands speak for me. I tested the panel before closing a single screw. I seated the flex cables and checked touch lines twice. No dead spots and colors true across the glass. I wiped it clean and closed the frame with care. He paid in cash and gave a small nod of respect. Nods are quiet but heavy when they are honest. I slid $5 into my reserve envelope. Drops in a bucket grow into a wall behind you. The second job was a charge port full of lint. I cleaned it slowly and tightened the small bracket. The phone took a charge like it should again. He asked the price, and I gave a fair number. He paid and said, "You work careful." I like that careful work is slow and fast at the same time. Slow in hands, fast in results, and fewer returns. Returns cost 2 times once you count lost peace. Saving peace is how a man gets through storms. Peace shows up as sleep and a steady spine. I stepped outside and felt my chest loosen a bit. The edge was still there, but it wasn't close now. Proof beats doubt. It doesn't shout, it stands firm. I checked my blue book and read the small totals. Not loud numbers, but honest numbers I earned. I put more cash into my reserve without delay. Even small drops need a home and a plan. Buckets don't brag. They hold when wind gets rude. Holding when wind hits is real strength, friend. Strength without noise is strength that lasts. A message came from Victor with the old bait. Move faster. Think big. Come talk and bring parts. I put the phone down and kept my day clean. I would not hand my piece back for free again. I read my plan card one more time to stay sharp. No calls to my brothers for 24 hours. Test parts before buying and log every job. Walk for 10 minutes and breathe slow and even. A plan is not a cage, it is a rail. I took a walk and matched words to my steps. I build. I protect. I improve. In a calm rhythm. The rhythm settled the weight sitting on my chest. The sky didn't change, but my mind got clear. I could feel my grip on life come back strong. I could feel my back set like a straight beam. I added one rule I knew I could keep. No heavy talks on work days ever again. Guardrails keep men from driving off cliffs. Guardrails make tomorrow show up on time. I finished the third job with steady, patient hands. The battery needed a tested swap and clean seals. I used slow heat and careful pressure to lift glue. The phone woke up and held charge like new now. The client said, "Thank you, brother. This helps a lot." I said, "If I break it, I fix it." Calm and firm. He nodded because simple truth sounds like steel. I logged the work and kept a photo as proof. Photos and numbers beat old arguments later. They protect peace without a single raised voice. When the day closed, I took out the letter again. I added one line under "I'm tired" and "not yet." I wrote, I rise by work, then signed my name. Those 5 words sat like bricks in my chest, not heavy in a bad way, heavy like foundation. Foundations don't move because pride barks loud. They don't care about noise or old bait lines. They care about level, weight, and daily checks. My foundation was a code I could speak aloud. My code held me when my house would not. Friend, if you're at the edge, remember 5 tools: your breath, your hands, your pace, your tone, your time. Take those 5 and make one page you can keep. Do not promise big. Promise one clean day only. Eat simple, work careful, and log every dollar. Tell the truth faster than fear can speak. Protect your hours with clear no and calm yes. Put 5 in a reserve and touch it at night. 5 becomes 10, then 20, then a wall. Walls block storms and give you windows for light. Now let me guide you into the next step smoothly. Strength did not crash in with a shout or song. It arrived as steady days that matched my code. Small wins stacked until they made a shield. That shield turned their laughter thin and weak. It turned my sleep deep and my voice even. It opened the door to my first clear breakthrough. Not luck, not magic, just system and care. Stay with me. You'll see how the wind took shape, and why it held even when pressure returned. I woke and said one line I could carry all day. I said, build a code I can keep today. Not a month, not a year, just one day. Big goals drown men when storms hit hard. Small promises hold when floors shake under you. I opened my blue notebook and drew 5 lines. Speak less, prove more, protect peace, honor time, guard money. I read them out loud so my hands would listen. Words train hands, and hands train a life. That is how real change starts for men. I wrote a simple list any man can follow now. Wake early. Eat simple. Message buyers. Test parts. Log cash. I added one rule that saved my peace daily. No heavy talks with brothers during work hours. Work and peace ride the same rails for me. Rails keep engines fast and safe at the same time. I printed new cards with a line I could defend. Adrian Repairs. Honest work. Fair price. Fast reply I handed them with a firm handshake and clear eyes. I set prices I could hold without shame. Screen swap 35 to 60. Battery 30 to 45. Port clean 20. Maybe 25 if it fought back. I did not race to the bottom for quick cash. I sell care, proof, and a 7-day work promise. If I break it, I fix it. Lives on my tongue. If I can't, I say so. Lives there too. These lines cut lies before they spread and rot. Clean lines save money, mind, and sleep together. Would you try saying less and doing more this week? Victor mocked those cards, but my face stayed calm. He said, real money moves fast. Drop the rules. Fast without rails is a fall that looks like flying. You only find the ground when the price is due. I wasn't building a rush. I was building a life. So I trained basics like a boxer, trains jabs, screw order, cable seating, and final clean checks. I filmed test clips before every hard close. Proof turns your fault into silence without heat. Silence from critics is a large, quiet win. I bought tools like a farmer buys seed with care. Better tweezers, thin pry cards, high-purity alcohol. A magnetic mat to keep screws in their lanes. A driver set that would not strip under stress. I wrote each cost and the reason in my book. Tools are seed. Do not eat your seed in fear. Fear says, spend all, or save all, both wrong. Wisdom says, invest enough to raise your level, then protect the rest so tomorrow has a guard. I set deep work blocks with 0 alerts allowed. 90 minutes on, then water and a breath. I did not scroll, argue, or check bait messages. I put a sticky near me that said, do not disturb. When you guard your hands, your work guards your name. I handled 2 jobs steady and 1 no fix honestly. The no fix cost cash but bought me strong respect. That client sent his cousin because I told the truth. Truth travels farther than any bright ad online. Bright ads fade. Truth grows roots in towns. Food rules were as strict as tool rules for me. Oats and eggs for work days, rice and beans later. I fed a small reserve envelope every single day. 5 here, 10 there, 20 when I could. Drops became a quiet wall behind my back. A wall lets a man face wind without panic. Fear taxes men every hour when walls are gone. Walls do not talk, they hold when storms shout. Build your wall with drops, proof, and clean logs. A big test came when a bulk order reached me. 8 screens due by week's end with clean delivery. Pass me might have chased cheap parts and speed. Code me tested every panel on a harness first. I rejected weak ones even if it cost more. I labeled by model and logged time in and out. I checked touch, color, call audio, and proximity. I added tempered glass on 2 as a quiet thanks. Not a trick, just a standard that says, I care. Standards turn first visits into steady cycles. Mockery kept coming, but did less harm now. Results hung in the room like quiet armor. Armor you don't lift or shine for likes. It just sits there and changes how men talk. I didn't clap back or post any loud wins. I kept my rhythm, cleaned my kit, and walked at dusk. I build, I protect, I improve, matched my steps. Rhythm is a weapon in a world that pulls men apart. Keep a rhythm and your back stays straight. I wrote a storm drill for days that tilt me. If panic hits, sit, breathe, read code, drink water. Do one small task, clean tips or prep labels. Message one good client with a clear update. Touch reserve envelope and remember tomorrow. Storm plans must be simple and close to hand. Complicated plans snap when fear tightens the chest. Simple rails hold and carry a man tonight. Simple rails brought me back from sharp edges too. I made peace with slow growth if it stayed. True, I picked steady now over sorry later every time. I kept one promise to myself every single day. I will not hand my peace back for free. Not to pride, not to pressure, not to shame. If a call smelled like bait, I moved it to morning. If a job felt risky, I tested or said no. A clean no can save a dirty week of regret. Saying no is a skill adult men must learn. A small moment told me my code was working. A client said, "You showed up on time and spoke plain." He did not praise price, he praised trust. Trust is the ground under every quiet win. With trust, steps sound like truth on wood. Without trust, steps squeak and people stare. I would rather move quiet on solid boards. Loud steps on weak wood break ankles fast. Quiet steps reach doors that actually open. My code did not make me rich overnight. It made me unshakable where it mattered most. I could take a slap and not fold my spine. I could face mockery and keep my schedule. I could hear bait offers and protect my pace. I did not hate my brothers. I set terms. Terms that honored my time and my peace first. A man without terms pays hidden taxes forever. Terms turn leaks into locks you can trust. Friend, if you need a code, borrow mine today. Speak less. Prove more. Protect peace. Honor time. Guard money. Add 2 lines that save you in storms. If I break it, I fix it. If I can't, I say so. Print it, pocket it, and say it out loud. Your mouth trains your hands train your life. One steady day becomes 2, then 3, then weeks. Then one morning, you wake up taller inside. Now let me carry you into the grind that followed. Hunger tested me. Mockery pressed. Bills tried to rush me. I kept the code, fed the reserve, and built patterns. Patterns beat luck and beat noise in the end. Small wins stacked until they formed a shield. That shield met a bigger chance and did not bend. The first clear breakthrough came from these rails. It showed them care outlasts speed every time. Stay close. The next step will make you nod. It's where the work started to speak for me. Hunger is a sharp teacher, and it talks straight to men. I woke and said my code out loud with calm. Speak less, prove more, protect peace, honor time, guard money. I ate oats and eggs with water, nothing fancy. Simple fuel keeps hands steady when days get hard. I checked my kit and wiped every tool clean. Drivers tight, pry cards flat, alcohol capped tight. I slid my reserve envelope into my inside pocket. Even $5 matters when storms keep coming. That wall of small drops kept my chest steady. A man named Kareem sent me a short message. 2 screens today, tested first, fair rate, I said. Yes. Parts at cost. Labor clear. He liked the clean words and set a time window. I tested panels on a harness before paying cash. Weak lines showed on one, so I rejected it. Proof before purchase saves sleep and fights later. Have you learned that yet? Or does pride still spend you? Pride spends faster than any thief with quick hands. I will not let pride hold my wallet again. Hunger pinched by mid-morning, but I held the line. I drank water and walked a block for breath. Walking moves heat out of the head quietly. Movement beats the fog when pressure builds fast. I finished Kareem's first unit with slow hands. I filmed a short clip before closing the frame. Film now saves a long debate later on. He paid labor and nodded like a man working. Nods from working men carry a special weight. They stay with you longer than loud cheers. Victor pinged with the same tired pitch again. Scale with me, cut corners, make it fast. I wrote, quality first or no deal, brother. He typed a laughing face and a line about speed. Speed without rails is falling that looks like flying. The ground still comes, and it doesn't care. I put my phone face down and protected pace. Pace is a weapon. It kills sloppy work slowly. Sloppy work taxes you twice in cash and sleep. I won't pay that tax ever again, friend. The second screen showed a faint shadow at test. I swapped it before a single screw went in. Early catches are the whole game in repairs. Late catches turn into your fault without proof. I kept the bad panel bagged with a test clip. I returned it with no drama and got a swap. People respect clean evidence and straight tone. Straight tone is stronger than any loud speech. Loud burns hot and then leaves you empty. Straight builds ground where men can step calmly. Noah sent a message with half a joke. Still counting pennies, accountant boy? I typed one word back, working, and left it. Short answers protect peace from bait and traps. Have you learned to keep replies short under heat? Short is not weak. Short is a locked door. Doors teach men how to act around your time. If they won't learn, the door stays closed. Closed doors are love for both sides when used right. Rain rolled in and slowed the street outside. I posted, free checks today, honest advice only. 2 walk-ins came with different kinds of trouble. The first was board damage beyond my safe skills. I gave 2 good referrals and wished him well. He thanked me like I fixed it in front of him. Respect comes easy when truth arrives fast. The second needed a battery I had in stock. I tested health, swapped, sealed, and logged the job. He paid fair and said, "You work careful, brother." Hunger barked again near late afternoon. I ate rice and beans I prepped last night. Planning dinners saved me from dumb spending. Dumb spending steals from tomorrow's wall quickly. I cleaned my mat and checked my driver heads. I replaced a worn tip before it stripped screws. Small care prevents large losses under pressure. Prevention is quiet and never gets claps, but it keeps your week from breaking in half. Quiet wins outlive noisy gasps every time. Victor tried one more push with a fake favor. Bring parts, we talk, and I'll open doors. Doors, built by Pride slammed shut the next day. I said, my rules, my pace, or I pass. He typed, you changed, as if that was dirt. I wrote, I chose, because choice is a backbone. Backbones grow when men stop renting their peace. I'm done renting. I bought my hours with rules. These rules pay me back every single morning. They also pay me back each quiet night. Kareem asked for 2 more units by the weekend. I checked my stock and said yes with terms. Terms protect men from surprises and stress. I blocked 90 minutes with all alerts off. Deep work blocks built the best parts of my life. In those blocks, my name gets stronger in town. Your name needs regular training like your hands. Train it with kept promises and clean logs. Logs tell the truth even when nerves shake. I wrote a small storm drill on a fresh card. If panic hits, sit, breathe, drink water, read code. Do one small task, clean tips, prep labels, or test. Message one good client with a clear update. Touch reserve envelope and remember tomorrow. Drills save men when the brain tries to run. You cannot think your way out of every storm. You move with rails until your mind warms up. Then you think. Then you plan the next step. Steps, not speeches. Build a life that holds. Night came, and I cleaned my kit with care. I logged every dollar and every part change. I counted the reserve and added 10 more. 10 is small, but it speaks like a stone. Stones stack into walls that take the wind. I read my code one last time before sleep. Speak less, prove more, protect peace, honor time, guard money. I felt the day's weight settle into place, not on my chest, but under my feet now. That's where weight belongs when a man stands. Listen, friend, mockery did not stop in 1 week. Hunger did not leave after one strong day. Bills still knocked and wanted front row seats. But patterns changed the shape of every punch. Patterns turned pain into training and fuel. Patterns turned noise into something I could use. Small wins stacked and felt like quiet armor. Armor you don't carry, it just hangs around you. It makes people lower their voice near your name. It made theirs lower, even if pride fought back. Let me show you how the breakthrough came next. Not because they stopped, but because I didn't. I kept rails when they pushed and waves hit. I kept pace when pride laughed at careful hands. And then a big order walked through a calm door. It met a system that could carry real weight. It met a man who could say no to noise. That is where the first clear win took root. Stay with me now. This next part is proof. Proof that slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I woke and said one line before anything else. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I checked my kit twice with a calm mind. Drivers tight, pry cards flat, alcohol capped, heat pad ready. I opened my blue book and reviewed my rails. Label, test, log, deliver, and film every proof. A message came from a fleet manager named Malik. He needed 8 screens this week. Clean delivery. I felt steady because my system could carry weight. Steady is stronger than hype when pressure shows up. I asked for models, damage notes, and clear terms. I wrote parts at cost and simple labor lines. He agreed fast because order feels safe to leaders. I tested every panel with a harness first. I rejected 2 weak ones without a second thought. I labeled each bag with model and client tag. I set deep work windows and silenced my phone. 90 minutes on, then water and a breath. I started with the simple units to build pace. Small wins stack and power the hard ones. I opened the first phone and tested before closing. I seated flex cables and checked touch lines twice. I matched color and brightness against a known good. I filmed a short test clip before final screws. I wiped the glass and packed it in foam. I log time and a note like tight bracket. Notes turn lessons into tools for next time. They stop repeat mistakes when fatigue arrives. The second and third units followed the rhythm. Rhythm saves energy when long days hit. Victor pinged with the old corner cut pitch again. We can scale if you skip the slow checks. Skipping checks is spending your name for lunch money. Lunch money fills a stomach and empties a future. I typed, quality or no deal, that's the rule. He wrote, you're slow, and tried to laugh me off. He didn't see that slow hands build fast weeks. He didn't see the engine I was building. Engines pull weight, hype just rides along. Weight proves what's real without shouting. By midday, 5 phones were tested and labeled. I ate oats and 2 eggs and drank water. I stretched my hands and rolled my shoulders gently. Care for the body protects the work quietly. I cleaned my mat and reset the screw tray. I pulled 2 fresh seals for worn frames. I refused to close units with tired adhesive. Small choices stop big returns later on. Returns cost double once you count lost piece. Piece is profit most men forget to count. Unit 6 had a stripped screw holding stubborn. I used a thin rubber band to gain grip. It turned slow and saved the board clean. Tools listen to calm hands better than loud hands. Calm told the screw, we have time today. The frame opened and the swap went smooth. I checked proximity sensor and both mics with calls. I filmed tests, labeled bags, and logged time. I wrote rubber band save for future me. Future me always pays me back for notes. The 7th unit flashed a faint backlight line. I caught it during the harness test early. I swapped the panel before closing the frame. Early saves money, sleep, and your warranty. Late makes you throw parts at loud problems. I returned the bad panel with clean evidence. The parts guy swapped it with 0 debate. Evidence turns maybe into you are right. Right earns respect that grows over months. The last unit had a bent corner frame edge. I trimmed adhesive to match the real shape. I warned Malik about light frame wear clearly. I added a note for a future reframe slot. Honest notes beat false promises every time. False promises steal from tomorrow's trust. We scheduled a reframe for next payroll. He liked straight talk from steady hands. Men who run crews spot lies in seconds. They relax when the work speaks plain. Delivery day felt firm, not shaky or loud. I packed each phone with foam and labels. I printed 2 invoices with clear terms, parts at cost, labor fare, 7-day work warranty. Parts as is sat bold to keep fights away. I brought my harness to live test on site. We checked each screen together, calm and direct. No dead spots, no ghost touch, and colors true. He nodded like a man who found a good bridge. He paid in full and added a small extra. He asked, can you handle 5 to 10 weekly? I said, yes, if quality stays first, always. He said, I want uptime more than cheap talk. We shook hands like men who waste no words. I walked home and touched the key in my pocket. A key means a door I can lock at night. A locked door means sleep without fear. Sleep protects hands better than speeches. Strong weeks start with clean sleep and respect. I split the cash with cold discipline and speed. Parts float first to keep supply stable. Rent next, then tools, and reserve last. I set 20 aside to thank my friend Ben. Gratitude keeps a man from turning bitter. Bitter men break parts and burn bridges. Thankful men sharpen skills and open doors. Doors open for steady hands and plain truth. Plain truth sells longer than bright ads. Noah sent, big order, huh? Must feel nice, I typed, working, and kept my pace steady. Short replies protect peace from bait and spin. Victor called and tried a softer tone. Let's celebrate. You've got momentum now. I said. Not this week. I'm planning stock first, claps later, or not at all. Claps don't fix returns when the lights fade. Have you felt respect land like a quiet weight? It doesn't cheer. It sits and keeps you upright. It straightens your back and evens your voice. It gives room to say no without fear. It lets you plan months, not minutes. That is what this win gave me, friend. It did not shout. It built my spine deeper. It showed slow can outrun fast with rails. It taught me proof is the only language that lasts. I returned the weak panel with my test video. The counterswap was smooth because evidence led. I restocked 2 common screens and 1 battery. I logged costs and updated my parts float level. I cleaned the driver heads and wiped the mat. I set phone to quiet for the next deep block. I wrote 3 lines on a card near my bench. Keep promises, protect pace, guard peace. Those 3 carry me when days run long. Night tried to tempt me to brag online. I let that urge pass like a loud truck. Bragging spends energy and buys nothing real. Building keeps energy in prints. Proof tomorrow. Proof buys safe sleep and steady clients. Proof made their laughter softer each week. They still joked, but the echo faded away. Results hung in the air like a shield. Shields you don't carry are the best shields. Friend, if you want a breakthrough that holds, build rails. Test before you close, film before you argue, label and log, deliver with clean terms. Eat simple and walk, sleep like it's part of work. Say no to speed that taxes you later. Say yes to systems you can repeat under stress. 1 steady week becomes 2, then 4. Then your hands stop shaking when work piles up. Then silence starts to feel like a win. And wins stop needing noise to be real. Now let me guide you into what came next. They saw the results and paused mid-joke. Shock sat on their faces, mixed with quiet guilt. They finally saw what care and code can build. I stayed calm and did not rub it in. Calm wins long after claps die out. The truth stood there without my help. And their tone changed because outcomes don't lie. They heard about my work from people they respect now. Kareem said his drivers were happy and on time. Ben told them I returned every favor fast. Mr. Singh said I kept my word like Dad taught. Respect moved without me posting one thing. Respect travels fast when proof walks ahead. Their jokes got softer and paused halfway. Have you seen a man stop mid-smirk and think? That pause means truth is working on pride. Truth was finally louder than their noise. Victor called and used a different tone with me. He asked, "Are you really steady now, Adrian?" I said, "I'm steady, not loud and not rushing." He asked, "How much are you making each week?" I said, "Enough to stand and sleep clean at night." He went quiet, and I heard a deep breath. Silence means a man is thinking past pride. Pride hates numbers that don't want applause. Pride hates systems it cannot mock down. Would you stay calm when pride studies your steps? He came by with his hands off my tools. He looked at labels, receipts, and the blue book. He touched nothing and kept his voice level. He said, "You built something real without me." I said, "I built it because I needed peace." He nodded like he finally saw my fight. My war was not against him. Not really. It was against panic, noise, and bait lines. It was one with proof stacked, day by day. Proof speaks long after talk gets tired. Noah sent a client without jokes for once. He wrote, "He pays fair and needs it done right." I replied, "Quality first, time based on model." The job went clean and the man left calm. Noah texted, "He says you speak plain and straight." I wrote, "That's the only way this stays solid." He replied, "Glad you didn't fold under heat." That line sat heavy in my chest for a while. Folding is easy for a minute, costly for months. Holding costs now, but it pays for years. We met for coffee with clear terms in place. 1 hour only, neutral spot, no. Money talk. They arrived on time and kept their hands still. No jokes about pennies, pace, or my cards. We spoke about now, not the dirty past. They asked how I keep returns low and clean. I said, test first, film tests, write clear terms. I said, if I break it, I fix it, no games. Their faces showed respect even if pride resisted. Respect shows first in eyes, then in tone. Victor tried to hand me cash with strings attached. He said, use this, but let me set your prices. I said, help that moves my rules is not help. Boundaries are a door with a strong lock. A good lock protects love, it does not kill it. He put the stack away and said, okay. A small okay can mean a lot under weight. It sounded like a hinge that finally oiled. Doors open smoother when rules are known. They asked about the old letter I once held. I said, I wrote not yet and kept small steps. I said, I built rails so panic could not drive. I told them the 5 tools I control daily: breath, hands, pace, tone, and time, every day. Any man can use those without permission. They listened without trying to win the talk. Guilt sat there, but it did not crush me. Their guilt is theirs. I do not lift it. I carry my code, my work, and my peace. They watched how I split cash without noise. Parts float first to feed the engine. Rent next, then tools, then the reserve. Saying no is money, I told them calm. No saves a week of sorry and waste. They nodded like men who learned late. Late is still better than never for men. A late lesson can still build a bridge. Bridges carry weight when they're built on truth. Noah asked, are we good now, you and me? I said, we are clear. Good takes time. Clear means rules, not quick hugs and speeches. Clear means call first and no surprise favors. Clear means no touching my things ever. Clear means no mockery about pennies or pace. He said, I can keep that, and held my eyes. I said, keep it for months and we will see. Trust is steel only after heat and time. People started using my name like a compass. Ask Adrian. He tells the truth and shows work. That line made phones ring at good hours. It beats any ad or bright post online. Ads fade fast when hands are sloppy. Proof grows strong when hands are steady. My brothers heard those lines from men they trust. That is what changed them, not my speeches. Outcomes teach when words would only argue. Victor sent one last test to check my frame. Come now. Bring 2 screens, we'll talk. I typed, no screens move without payment. He said, you got rules for everything, man. I said, rules keep me from standing at edges. I did not explain more. I didn't need to. You don't owe long talks for guarding peace. He went quiet and then typed, understood. Understood is small, but it is solid ground. Friend, this is how truth settled between us. It did not crash in with sirens and posts. It walked in with invoices and quick returns. It stayed in short yes and clean no. It turned their voices from sharp to measured. It turned my chest from tight to open. Not perfect, not a storybook fix, just real. Real is enough for a man who almost faded. Real holds when old wind tries to rise again. Now let me move you into what came after this. Apologies came in pieces and at different times. I did not rush them and did not twist them. I set terms that protected what I built. I let actions do the talking for months. The bond changed, as it should, and stayed changed. And I chose what kind of bridge to keep. Stay close. The next part will show the rules. It will show how a door teaches men to act. He asked to meet, and I set the terms calmly. I said, 1 hour, neutral place, no money talk. I said, call before you come, don't just show up. Boundaries felt like a door with a strong lock. A good lock protects love. It does not kill it. He arrived on time and kept his voice low. He looked at me like he finally saw the weight. I kept my breath even and my hands open. Calm is the strongest tone a man can hold. Calm turns heat into steps a man can keep. I laid a small card on the table between us. I said, "These are my rules if we want a future. Call first, no surprise visits ever," I began. "No touching my things. Ask first and wait. No loans, gifts only if I choose and can. No money talk during work hours, that's protected. If voices rise, the meeting ends right there." I read each line slow, so there was no fog. He listened like a man walking on new ground. He said, "I can live with this," and breathed out. Noah asked if we were good, and I said, "Clear." Clear is stronger than fake smiles or fast hugs. Clear means the door has rules, and both hold them. Clear means we respect each other's time and work. He said, "I was wrong for joining those jokes." I said, "Thank you for naming the wrong out loud. Naming wrong makes it possible to build right. Silence hides rot. Sunlight makes repair possible." I told him, "You don't need to overtalk this. Just keep your word and keep your hands clean." Victor came with a test that carried strings. He said, "Here's cash, but I set your prices." I smiled a little and said, "That won't happen." He said, "I'm trying to help. Don't be proud." I said, "Help that moves my rules is not help." "Strong lines," said Calm, "teach without a shout." Boundaries are teachers when kept steady. He leaned back, then put the cash away slow. He said, "You're different now," like it stung. I said, "I'm disciplined now, and I like it." I wrote a family policy in my blue book. No late calls, after 8 goes to tomorrow. No borrowing tools, use your own or rent. No errands during deep work, text and wait. If I say no, the answer stays no, no guilt. Policies save peace when feelings get messy. Feelings are waves. Policies are harbor walls. A harbor keeps ships safe when storms roll through. I chose to be a harbor for my own mind. That choice kept me from old panic and rush. We tried short visits with the clock running. 1 hour exactly, with a soft chime at 50. We talked about now and not the dirty past. Past has its place, but not in every talk. We spoke about systems, not fresh promises. We spoke about what each man can control. I control breath, hands, pace, tone, and time. He controls words, arrival, and respect. Those 5 and those 3 build a quiet bridge. Quiet bridges carry more weight than loud ones. Noah sent a client and didn't hover once. He said, "Treat him right," and then went silent. I did the job clean and sent handled after. He replied, "Thanks," and left it there. Victor tried once more to push speed over care. I replied, "Quality or I don't do it at all." He paused, then typed back one word. Understood. Understood is a small brick that holds weight. Stack enough of them and trust can rest there. Not the old trust, a new one built on steel. I gave them both chances without extra pressure. If you visit, arrive on time and honor the hour. If you text, use facts and leave bait out. If you refer, don't promise what I didn't say. They hit those marks more often than before. Not perfect, but measurable improvement under weight. Improvement matters more than sweet apologies. Apologies without change are just soft lies. Change without noise is how men rebuild roads. We were laying asphalt, not lighting fires. One afternoon, Victor stood outside and waited. He did not knock hard or test the handle. He texted, "Here," and I opened with calm. He handed a small part and a clean receipt. "Thought you might need this, no strings," he said. No strings felt like air after a tight shirt. I said, "Thank you," and he nodded and left. That short exchange held more respect than years. Respect is small, sharp, and heavy in a good way. It sits in your chest and keeps your back straight. I set one last boundary that changed our tone. No jokes about my pace, pennies, or code. Mockery is a tax I no longer pay. I said it once, calm, and never repeated it. Repeating rules invites people to test them more. Holding rules without debate teaches faster. If a line was crossed, I ended the meeting. We're done for today. Try again next week. Ending fast stops rot from spreading wide. Rot spreads in slow rooms with nervous smiles. Friend, this is how our bond changed and stayed changed. Not anger, not drama, not revenge or noise. Calm rules, measured chances, and proof on paper. Doors that lock and open on clear terms only. Calls that wait until morning like they should. Hands that work and deliver what they promised. Voices that say little and mean every word. You asked how men heal without losing themselves. They do it like this, with rails, with time, with truth. Now let me show you the life that grew from this. It did not arrive with music, it arrived with sleep. It arrived with tools laid neat and rent paid. It arrived with clients who felt safe and stayed. It arrived with walks at dusk and deep breaths. It arrived with a spine that did not shake. That quiet life is worth more than any brag. And it stands even when old storms pass by. I'll tell you exactly what that life looks like next. It's simple, calm, strong, and fully mine. Peace did not arrive with noise or light. It arrived slow, like a steady breath. It stayed because I protected it with rules. It grew because I fed it with honest work. I want you to hear me as a friend now. I stood close to the edge once and held a letter. I felt like disappearing when the house turned cold. I chose a code over anger and loud fights. That code built a life I can carry anywhere. It built a spine that does not shake under weight. My mornings are simple because simple wins. I wake early and rinse cold to clear my head. I eat oats and eggs and read my lines. Speak less, prove more, protect peace, honor time, guard money. These words fit in my pocket and my chest. I check my kit and wipe each tool clean. Drivers tight, pry cards flat, alcohol sealed. I keep my reserve envelope where I can touch it. Touch reminds me that tomorrow has a guard. Clients trust me because proof walks before my name. I test before I close any frame every time. I film a short clip before the final screws. I write clear terms and keep them without fail. 7-day work warranty, parts as is. If I break it, I fix it and say sorry. If I can't fix it, I say so right away. Men respect plain truth more than bright talk. Bright talk fades. Plain truth pays for years. That is how a quiet life holds in storms. Money is steady now because rules are steady. Parts float first to keep the engine fed well. Rent next, then tools, then the reserve last. I add 5, 10, or 20 when I can. Drops build a wall behind my back slowly. A wall lets me say no without fear. No is money saved and peace protected. No is a bridge kept and a night of sleep. Sleep is not a luxury. Sleep is a tool. It keeps hands true and minds calm under heat. You ask about my brothers and where we stand. We speak with rules that protect both sides. Calls first, 1 hour, no surprise visits ever. No money talk during my work hours at all. No touching my things. Ask and wait for yes. If voices rise, the meeting ends and resets. These rules are not punishment. They are rails. Rails keep a train fast and safe every mile. Without rails, even a strong engine will crash. Victor tries more now, and I see the effort. He calls first and keeps his hands to himself. He does not mock my pace or my pennies. He sends a client and does not hover around. He says, "Thanks for your time," and means it. Those words carry weight because they are earned. Noah keeps his side of the line as well. He sticks to facts and drops bait from texts. Facts: make talk short and useful for men. Short talks protect peace better than speeches. Do I forgive them fully? I don't rush that word. I measure by patterns under real weight. Patterns beat speeches every single time. I look for kept times and clean hands. I listen for short yes and straight no. I look for respect that doesn't need a show. I give clean chances that protect my peace. I don't carry their guilt. It belongs to them. I carry my code and my work only. That is enough to build a strong life. Sundays belong to books, tools, and quiet checks. I read my logs and highlight small patterns. I fix weak steps and lock in strong moves. Test early, film tests, label clearly, stays pinned. I clean driver heads and replace worn tips. I keep one extra battery and seals in stock. I plan the week and set deep work times. I turn off alerts when my hands are working. Alerts steal focus faster than hunger does. Focus is money and peace at the same time. I help when I can, without breaking my line. A man brings a phone that holds his bus pass. I clean the port and tighten one small bracket. He tries to pay but comes up short a bit. I say, "It's handled. Take care of your shift." Not every payment is cash in the moment. Sometimes payment is a hand on your shoulder. It stays longer than bills and buys real peace. Peace given returns in ways you can't plan. That is a good trade a man can live with. Walks at dusk are part of my daily work. I count my steps and match them with words. I build, I protect, I improve. In a calm rhythm. The words make my breath even and strong. Even breath makes hands steady for tomorrow. Steady hands make returns rare and short. Rare returns make clients relax and trust. Trust makes a man's name move through towns. That is the only ad I use now. Proof is my quiet sign on every door. I keep a storm drill ready, like a tool. If panic rises, I sit, breathe, and drink water. I read my code and clean one small tip. I do one task I can finish in an hour. I message one good client with a clear update. I touch my reserve and remember tomorrow. Panic hates motion that is calm and simple. Motion breaks panic the way dawn breaks fog. Fog looks big until the sun shows its shape. Then you see the road and keep moving. What did I learn from all the hurt and climb? I learned respect starts with how I treat myself. The world follows the rules I keep in private. I learned family should build you, not tax you. If they tax you, step back and set terms. Terms protect love and work at the same time. I learned speed without a base is falling. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast, fast is winning. I learned proof is the only music that lasts. It plays in the quiet and holds your back straight. Friend, if you are near the edge tonight, breathe. You still control your breath, hands, pace, tone, time. Make one page for one day and keep it. Eat simple, work careful, and log every dollar. Tell the truth faster than your fear can talk. Protect your hours with clear no and calm yes. Put 5 in a reserve and touch it at night. 5 becomes 10, then 20, then a wall. Walls block storms and give you windows for light. Windows let peace in and keep noise out. I will leave you with a picture you can hear. A clean bench and a blue book open wide. Drivers that fit and a mat with straight rows. A phone screen lighting up clean and true. A calm voice saying, "It's handled. Here you go." A door that locks and a man who sleeps deep. A spine that holds because the code held first. That is the quiet life I built from hurt. That is a win no one can twist or steal. That is my proof, and it is enough. If you are still here and enjoy this story, please like this video. It really helps me know you want more content like this. If this story gave you some strength, please share it with your friends or someone who needs it. If you have any questions or suggestions about this story, please type them in the comments below. I love reading your thoughts. If you want more stories like this, please subscribe to this channel. There are many more on the way. Remember, sometimes the people closest to you hurt you the most, but you can still rise above.